Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel AgriAddict. As you know, we are providing online courses for 4 major subject groups including plant science, physical science, agronomy and entomology, and complete mock test bundle for 6 major subject groups including plant science, physical science, agronomy, entomology, horticulture as well as social sciences, which will be really helpful for your exam preparations including ICAR, JRF, SRF, CUET, IBPS and other agriculture related state examinations. As we have been discussing the ICAR JRF papers, today we will be discussing the ICAR PG paper of 2020. So I will be dealing with the economics part of the social science paper. Before starting, let me introduce myself. I am Ajay Anto. I have completed my UG from Kerala Agricultural University. I did my masters in the subject of agricultural economics from College of Agriculture, Rajendra Nagar, PGTSI, Hyderabad. And currently I am pursuing my PhD in the same subject in Indian Agriculture Research Institute, New Delhi. In the year of 2021, I have secured All India rank 27, and in the year of 2023, I have secured All India rank 4th in the ICAR SRF examination, and in the same year, I have qualified ASRB net also. So let's deal with the questions of 2020 ICAR JRF paper. Okay, the first question, question number 2. The type of market situation wherein the kinked demand curve is observed is. So in the chapter of market structure, we have seen many market structures like monopoly, duopoly, oligopoly, monopolistic competition, perfect competition, etc. And the kinked demand curve, the concept of kinked demand curve was proposed by Paul M. Sweezy. Paul M. Sweezy, and the king demand curve is a characteristic feature of the oligopoly market. This is a direct question. So king demand curve is the characteristic feature of oligopoly market because of the price rigidity. Price rigidity. As the name suggests, the king demand curve, the demand curve of the firm in a monopoly situation will be having a kink in their demand curve. That's why it is the oligopoly market is characterized with the king demand curve. Why it is happening? Actually, let this be the quantity demanded in the x-axis and this be the price. So assume a firm which is in an oligopoly market. So the accepted price of the firms in the market be P, so that Q quantity will be produced. So what happens here is like OP is the accepted price by the firms in the oligopoly market. What if a single firm increases the price? Because of the failure, because of the fear of the loss of output, the other firms in the oligopoly market won't be following that firm who have increased the price. So therefore, for that single firm who have raised the price will be having a large loss for a little increase in the price, because none of the firms are following that firm's price increase, right? So the that firm only will be increasing the price and none of the other firms will be following that price rise, and therefore only for a little amount increase in the price, large loss of sale will be happening to the that firm who have increased the price, right? So therefore here the demand curve will be more elastic, because the price responsiveness is really high there. For a little increase in the price, a large quantity of loss will be happening. But what happens is the same firm decreases the price. Mostly the others firms inside that oligopoly market situation will be thinking like, if that firm has reduced the price, all their customers will be going for that firm, so that all the firms also will be following that price rise. So therefore there won't be much difference in the quantity which is sold in a reduced price. So therefore after the point below the price, below this equilibrium price or below this accepted price, the demand curve will be less elastic. So therefore the steep of the elastic the demand curve will be more. So A, B, C is the demand curve of a firm which is characterized in a oligopoly market situation, and as we have seen, it is not a straight line, there is a kink in the demand curve. At the point of B, we can see that there is a kink, and this is called a kinked demand curve, and this happens due to the price rigidity. The price rigidity we have already explained that if a firm increases the price, none of the firms will be following that, but at the same time if the firm decreases the price, all the firms will be following that. That is known as the price rigidity. So therefore the type of market situation wherein the kinked demand curve is observed is oligopoly. Next question. Ratio of the standard deviation to mean. Ratio of the standard deviation to mean, this is also a direct question. The options are standard error, coefficient of variation, t value, and critical difference. So it's a direct question. The critical difference, sorry, the coefficient of variation. The coefficient of variation can be determined by the equation standard deviation divided by mean into 100, which is expressed in the percentage. So therefore the ratio of standard deviation to the mean will be given by the coefficient of variation. So therefore it is a direct question actually. If we know the equation, it will be easy to answer. So therefore the answer is answer to coefficient of variation. The farm management principle that guides the farmer to plan for specialized or diversified farming. This is also actually a direct question. There are different farm management principles that we have studied in the farm management. The options are opportunity cost principle, then there is principle of comparative advantage, then there is law of diminishing marginal returns, and there is time comparison principle. So of these principles, the farm management principle that guides the farmer to plan for specialized or diversified farming is principle of comparative advantage. Why? What is principle of comparative advantage? According to the principle of comparative advantage, a country or a region should be producing a crop or a product which will be so advantageous or so effective, because like they will be having the resources to produce that product in abundance there. So if there is a product, if one firm is producing a product which is having scarce resources, it will not be that much profitable to them. So that firm has to go for diversification. At the same time, a firm who have the raw materials for the production of their product in abundance with respect to their region, then that firm has to go for specialization, right? So whether to go for specialization or diversification is guided by the principle of comparative advantage. So therefore the answer will be option 2, principle of comparative advantage. So the market price that are above the equilibrium tend to create. What if the market prices that are above equilibrium tend to create? How the equilibrium price will be determined? As we all know, the convergence of demand and supply will be determining the equilibrium price as well as equilibrium quantity in the market, right? So in the x-axis we are taking quantity, in the y-axis we are taking the price, and let this be the demand curve and let this be the supply curve. So therefore the point of intersection of the demand curve and supply curve will be giving you the corresponding optimal price. So therefore OP is the equilibrium price and OQ is the equilibrium quantity in the market situation. So the question in the scenario in the question goes like this: what if the market price that are above the equilibrium? So what if the price is above OP? Let it be OP dash. So what will happen? See, if we are extending here, we can say that supply is greater than demand, right? Supply will be greater than demand. So therefore it will be creating some surplus, right? So that if higher price is given than the optimum or the market equilibrium price in the market, obviously attracted by the increased price, too much products will be coming to the market, right? So therefore obviously the surplus will be there. So therefore surpluses of goods will be there. So therefore the option A will be the correct answer. Yes. Another question, it's a statement question. The statement 1 goes like this: in international trade, a loan that may be repaid in the borrower's currency is called as a soft loan, which is actually the definition of the soft loan. In the international trade, a loan which has been taken by some of the international institutions or which have been taken from other countries, the repayment by the country will be paying in the borrower's currency, and that can be called as a soft loan. So therefore the statement 1 is correct. And what about the statement 2? The period required for the investment in a project to produce a visible return is called a payback period. Actually the definition of the payback period goes like this: it is the length of the time period to get back the investment of the project. It is actually whichever investment that I have done in the project, the time period which is taken to get back the investment, that is known as the payback period. And the given definition of the payback period in the second statement is not correct, and the payback period will be payback period is given by I by E, where I is the investment of the project and E is the annual cash flow of the project. And statement 2 is so incorrect, so therefore statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect, and the third option will be the correct answer. Okay, there is a question from the cost concepts. Question number 14. When MC is above AC, the average cost curve will be. What will be the nature of the average cost when MC is above the average cost curve? Whether it will be rising or falling, or remains constant, or runs parallel to the fixed cost curve. So in order to know what is happening to the AC, we just want to draw the cost curves, right? So as we all know, average cost will be a U-shaped curve, right? Except the AFC curve, average total cost, average variable cost, and marginal cost are U-shaped curves. So let this be the average total cost or average cost curve, right? And what happens with respect to MC? MC also starts, but the slope of the MC will be much steeper, right? The shape of the MC will be U-shaped, but still the slope will be much higher than that of the average cost as well as the average variable cost curve. And one more thing is there, the MC curve will be cutting the average cost as well as the average variable cost curve in their minimal point, right? So therefore MC curve goes like this. The MC curve is much steeper than that of AC, and also MC curve cuts the average cost curve in its minimum point, right? So what happens when MC is over AC? The question is, MC is above the AC, how the average cost curve will be behaving? So what happens here in the average cost curve? When MC is above AC, what happens? Average cost curve is rising, right? So it's after cutting the minimum point of the average cost curve, what happens to the average cost curve? It is starting to rise, right? So therefore obviously when MC is above average cost curve, the average cost curve will be rising. So therefore when MC is above AC, the average cost will be rising. So therefore the first option will be the correct answer. The next question, question number 18. A firm doubles all inputs in the long run and total output is less than doubles. So it is a case of what happens, like it is a long run concept and it is a concept from the returns to scale, right? What happens in the returns to scale? Returns to scale. In the case of returns to scale, actually it is a long run concept. Whichever inputs that we are using in a production function, let Y be the output and the inputs we are using are labor, capital. So two inputs we are using, and in the long run what happens if we are increasing the labor as well as the capital simultaneously? What will be the effect in the total output? That will be given by the returns to scale. And according to the change in the output, there are three possibilities, that is constant returns to scale, increasing returns to scale, and decreasing returns to scale. So knowing these concepts, we can answer this question. So a firm doubles all its inputs, so the labor as well as the capital has been increased 2 times. And what happens in the Y? Here the situation goes like this: the total output less than that of doubles, that is there is no 2-time increase in the output. So there we can say that corresponding increase is not happening in the output, so therefore it is meant to be decreasing returns to scale. That is, when 2 times increase happened in all the inputs, the output has increased only less than 2 times. So therefore only decreasing scale happened there. So therefore the answer will be D, decreasing returns to scale. What if the output is also doubled? So the corresponding change in the input increase happened in the output also. So therefore we can say that it is constant returns to scale. And the third scenario goes like this. What happens if the L and K has increased 2 times and the output has been increased 4 times? There we can say that the corresponding change in the output is much higher than that of the proportionate change increase in the input. So we can say that scenario as increasing returns to scale. So the given situation in the question goes like this. When the inputs has doubled, the output less than doubles. So therefore we can say that it is decreasing returns to scale, and option 4 will be the correct answer. Arrange the following procedural steps of scientific investigation in the correct order. The options are report writing, questionnaire, analysis, data collection, and tabulation. Before going for the data collection, first thing we need a questionnaire, right? So we have a questionnaire, and after that obviously we will be going for the data collection. We are going to the respondents. We are using the questionnaire to gather the data, right? That is called as the data collection. After data collection, there are two options. Analysis is there, tabulation is there. Before the data analysis, actually the data which is written in the questionnaire has to be tabulated, right? Which has to be made in the form of the tables. So therefore tabulation is the third procedure. After making the tables, we have to do the analysis, right? So therefore analysis is the fourth step, and after that, after the analysis, we will be getting some conclusions or results, and those conclusions or results will be written in the report. So therefore the final step will be report writing. So therefore the order will be B, D, E, C and A. B, D, E, C and A. Option 4 will be the correct answer. Okay, the question is from macroeconomics. Question number 26. The value of national output produced by residents within the country after depreciation and excluding the influence of the taxes and subsidies is known as. Here there are many components which is given. The value of the national output, so it is a national income concept produced by the residents within the country, so it is inside the domestic territory of the country. So obviously the first objective that we have to decide from this question is that we have to decide whether it is a national product or domestic product. So as it is mentioned that the value of the national output produced by the residents within the country, we can say that it is an inside the domestic territory of the country. So therefore it will be a domestic product. So value of the national output produced by the residents in the economy within the country. So we know that it is gross domestic product in the market price. Till now we can say that this is the gross domestic product in the market price, expressed in the market price after depreciation and excluding the influence of the taxes. So we have to deduct the depreciation, right? If we are deducting the depreciation, what we will get? Once we deduct the depreciation, we will get the gross will be converted into net, right? So therefore gross domestic product in the market price will be converted into net. Okay, the next question is a match the following. In the list 1, grading, processing, marketing, finance and hedging is given, which has to be connected with the key concepts with respect to the terminologies which is given. So therefore grading is there. We know what is grading. Grading is nothing but the assembling or classification of the final produce according to different grades, right? According to their quality, there will be different grades, and we have to sort it out according to their quality based on their size, shape and all. So therefore what will be connected with the grading? To overcome distress sale, no. Value addition, no. To overcome the price, it's also won't be coming. Quality and purity of the goods. So grading will be connected with the quality and purity of the goods. A will be connected with the fourth option. What is processing? Processing is conversion of the form of a product into another product in order to increase the utility, right? So therefore there comes a value addition. So processing can be connected with the value addition. Then what happens in the market finance? Market finance actually happens like it happens in the point of distress sale, right? So in the distress sale is nothing but the marketed surplus when marketed surplus is greater than the marketable surplus, what happens? Distress sale happens. That is actually when marketable surplus is a concept that explains the amount of produce which is left after meeting the consumption requirements of the farm family, right? But actually which is sold in the market will be much higher than that of the marketable surplus, which means that there is inelastic cash requirements, or the farmer will be in that scenario where he have to cut short his expenditure, the consumption expenditures, and sell the whole product in the market. So therefore distress sale will be happening, and in order to overcome the distress sale, there will be a support which is given by the banks for the marketing process. So that can be explained as the market finance. So C can be connected with the first option. And D, hedging is also, we all know that there are two types of price mechanisms in the marketing. First one is speculation and second one is hedging, and obviously it is connected to the to overcome the price risk. So therefore D can be connected with the third option. So therefore A, B, C, D can be connected with 4, 2, 1 and 3. 4, 2, 1, 3, first option will be the correct answer. Okay, the question number 33, difference between the value of exports and the value of imports is, this is a direct question. So difference between the value of exports and value of imports is nothing but the balance of payment, right? This is a direct question. The concept of balance of payment is nothing but the difference of export as well as the imports, or we can say the net value of exports can be considered as the balance of payment. So here another terms are there, terms of trade. Terms of trade is actually a ratio between the value of exports and value of imports. There are different measures of terms of trade, but still basically we have to realize that it is the ratio of the export as well as the imports. What is the marketable surplus? Market surplus we have already seen. Market surplus, two types of market surplus we have seen, the marketable surplus and marketed surplus, which has decided in discussed in the previous question. And the market margin, what is market margin? Actually market margin is actually in a marketing channel there will be different market intermediaries, right? So when we are considering a single intermediary, for example, see, let this be a marketing channel A, B, C and D. Let A be the producer and D be the consumer. B and C are the middlemen in between the marketing channel, right? They are the marketing intermediaries. So in order to find the market margin, actually we have to consider a single intermediary. So if I am considering the intermediary B, upon what price he will be buying from A and upon what price he will be selling to C, the difference between the selling price as well as the buying price will be giving you the marketing margin. So that is the concept of marketing margin. So here in the 33rd question, the answer will be balance of payment, which will be explaining the difference between the value of exports as well as the value of imports. Who was the first governor of RBI? It's also a direct question. It was Sir Osborne Smith. And in the year of 2021, we have seen there were questions which is asked to make an ascending order of the given governors of the RBI. So NTA is having much interest in asking questions with respect to the RBI governors. So you have to be thorough, or at least have to be clear about who were the governors and what were their time periods during the course of time. The sufficient condition of consumers equilibrium under indifference curve analysis is, under indifference curve analysis, in order to find the consumer equilibrium, there are two conditions. The first one can be considered as the necessary condition and the second one be considered as the sufficient condition. The first condition is nothing but at the point of equilibrium, the budget line should be tangent to the indifference curve, or we can say that the slope of the budget line should be equal to the slope of the indifference curve. That is, the marginal rate of substitution between the two products should be equal to the price ratio. That is, MRSXY should be equal to PY by PX. This is the first condition, and this can be considered as the necessary condition. Necessary condition. Okay. But this condition alone won't be satisfying the consumer equilibrium. The sufficient condition is nothing but the at the point of equilibrium, where the slope of the marginal, when we are drawing the graph, I can demonstrate it to you. Let this be the budget line and let it be the indifference curve. Okay, indifference curve, and let BL be the budget line, and at the point of equilibrium E, we can say that the slope of indifference curve should be equal to slope of the budget line, where we can say that marginal rate of substitution should be equal to the price ratio, right? Marginal rate of substitution should be equal to the price ratio. First condition is goes like this, and the second and the sufficient condition goes like this, that at the point of equilibrium, that is at the point of E, the marginal rate of substitution should be decreasing. The marginal rate of substitution should be decreasing at the point of equilibrium. It means that the indifference curve should be convex to origin. The indifference curve should be convex to origin. Until and unless the second condition is not satisfied, we cannot say that the consumer equilibrium has been finalized under the indifference curve analysis, because see, this is also a possible chance, right? See, this can be an indifference curve and this can be a budget line. Here also, see, the slope of the indifference curve can be equated with the slope of the budget line, but at the same time the sufficient condition is not satisfied here. So therefore we cannot say that the consumer equilibrium can be established at the point of equilibrium, right? So therefore the sufficient condition goes like this: the marginal rate of substitution should be decreasing, or else we can say that the indifference curve has to be convex to origin. So the given options are MRS is decreasing, MRS equal to price ratio, MRS greater than price ratio, indifference curve is concave to origin. So the last option we can eliminate, right? Because it has to be convex to origin. Marginal rate of substitution is equal to PR. It is actually a necessary condition, not a sufficient condition. The third one is also can be eliminated, and the first option, marginal rate of substitution should be decreasing, is the correct answer. So the option 1 will be the correct answer. Question number 39. The kind of money for which the intrinsic value is equal to the face value. This is actually the standard definition, right? So there are two types of value according to the two types of money according to the intrinsic value as well as face value. First one is standard money. Second one is token money. What is the difference between standard money and token money? In the standard money, actually what happens is like the intrinsic value, the innate value of the material will be actually written as the face value. So if I am having a gold coin, I can say that the intrinsic value of the gold coin will be the actual value of the gold coin, or it will be used, the face value of the gold coin also will be the same value of the innate value of the gold, right? So therefore in the case of standard money, the intrinsic value will be equal to the face value. But what happens in the token money? Consider our rupee notes. Actually a rupee note will be having, if we are considering the intrinsic value, that is the paper value, it will be much less. But actually maybe your 2 or 3 rupee worth paper will be written as 100 or 1000 rupees, right? So therefore the face value will be much higher than that of the intrinsic value of the thing that we are using. So therefore in the case of token money, the face value will be much higher than that of the intrinsic value. But at the same time, the standard in the case of standard money, the intrinsic value will be equal to the face value. So therefore this is a direct question. In the question it is asked that the kind of token money for which the intrinsic value is equal to the face value, and we can say that that kind of money is standard money, and the option 3 will be the correct answer. The next question. Okay. Which one of the following is not an external factor affecting the production? Not an external factor. So there are two types of factors which is affecting the production. First one is internal factors and the next one is external factors. Internal factors are actually inside the system, or else we can more specifically, we can have a control on the factors which is inside the system, right? Those factors can be considered as the internal factors. But there are some factors which are out of control. Those can be considered as the external factors. External factors are outside the system, but still they have some effect on the level of production, but we cannot control those factors. But at the same time, internal factors, they can affect the production, but we can alter the level of those factors. We can restrict it, we can enhance it. That is the difference between the external factors and as well as the internal factors. So given options are market prices, selection of the farm, weather and government policy. We can say that the market prices, it actually fluctuates according to the demand and supply in the market, right? So we cannot do anything regarding the market prices. It will be decided by the market forces. So therefore market prices cannot be considered as a internal factor. The third option, weather, which is also out of control. So therefore weather is also an external factor. Government policy, it's actually taken by the government, not by an individual producer, right? So therefore it is also an external factor. But what about the selection of farm? Selection of farm actually is under the control of the farm business manager, right? So I can, if I am getting much more profit, I can hire more land to produce, right? So therefore selection of the farm, there is much more say in the decision to select a farm. So it can be considered as an internal factor. So therefore it is not an external factor. So therefore the option 2 will be the correct answer here. Patents and copyrights are, according to the classification of Alfred Marshall, based on the transferability, the commodities are classified into material and non-material, transferable and non-transferable goods. So here patents and copyrights. What is actually a patent and copyright? Actually it is a legal right on some commodities, right? Patents and copyrights are some legal rights. So therefore obviously it is a non-material object. We cannot touch it. It's not tangible, right? We cannot physically feel it. Actually it is a legal right obtained for a commodity. So therefore obviously first thing, it will be a non-material thing. So therefore the first option and third option can be eliminated, right? So the second option and fourth option, non-material, non-transferable good, non-material, transferable goods. Even if we are getting the patent and copyright as a legal right, if we wish, we can sell these patents and copyrights or transfer these legal rights to other companies in order to get some revenues, right? So therefore even if patents or copyrights are non-material goods, they can be transferred to other persons. So therefore patents or copyrights are non-material and transferable goods. So therefore the fourth option will be the correct answer. Which of the following is considered to fall under the deductive method of economic investigation? In the case of methods of economic investigation, there are two types of investigations. First one is deductive method and second one is inductive method. What is deductive method? Deductive method is also known as abstract, a priori or analytical method, which proceeds from the general to the particular. But in the case of inductive method, we can see that we can explain it as a historical method or a posterior method, where the method of investigation starts from the particular to the general, as if we are going for a survey or a census thing, right? So among the theories given in the options, Engels theory of family expenditure, Malthusine theory of population distribution theory, and consumer surplus, we can say that the theories which is coming under the cardinal utility approach, which was the earlier theories, fall under the deductive method of economic investigation. So therefore the consumer surplus goes under the deductive methods of investigation, which also means that Engels law of family expenditure, Malthusine theory of population and distribution theory were formulated under the inductive method of economic investigation. Actually there is nothing like a single methodology of economic investigation is correct. At times we have to combine both of these economic investigation in order to find the final absolute or accurate results. Next question is question number 50. Arrange the phases in the project cycle in the correct order. So the phases in the project cycle has been given in the options in a jumbled order. So therefore we have to make it in the correct sequence. The first phase of the project cycle is identification, identifying the scope, identifying the requirements, the raw materials, the availability of it. All those things comes under the first step. The first one is identification. What about the second step? After that we have to formulate the plan, right? The second one is formulation, third one is appraisal, fourth one is during all the phases of implementation we have to see that whether the implementation is going according to the prepared plan, whether it is achieved or not. So that is called as monitoring. And in the final step we will be evaluating the whole progress, whether all the objectives have been completed, right? So therefore evaluation is also there. So therefore 1 2 3 4 5, it's totally given in the opposite direction, right? So the answer will be EDCBA. Option 1 will be the correct answer. The next question, the benefit cost ratio gives green signal to the investors if it is. So when the investors have to invest in a business organization, and what will be the benefit cost ratio they will be deciding about it. As we know, a business organization will be profitable when the benefit cost ratio is greater than 1, right? So therefore there is an option which is given as greater than 1, but actually the question is somewhat vague here, that is which gives green signal to the investors. So for the investors, obviously they will be thinking about the profit, but at the same time they will be okay for not making losses, or at least we can say that the investors will be also okay in order to find a break-even capacity, that is the return should be equal to the cost, right? So benefit cost ratio equal to 1 will give you the same returns which they have been invested, right? So therefore 1 and greater than 1 will be a green signal to the investors. So therefore the answer will be the benefit cost ratio equal to or greater than 1 will be giving a green signal to the investors. Question number 53, the type of farming with the greater risk is. So there are 4 types of farmings have been given here: diversified, specialized, mixed and ranching. So what happens, from specialized to diversified, we are integrating more crop components. When we are moving from diversified to mixed farming, we are integrating livestock components also. So the more components or the more enterprises that we are including in our business, what happens, actually the risk is minimized, right? It will be giving you a continuous flow of income, as well as we can assure that even if one enterprise is at loss, the other enterprise will be there to support your whole businesses, right? So if you are going for a specialized farming, actually your whole business will be depending upon only a single enterprise, and if for some reason you are incurring some loss, your whole business will be in a loss, right? So therefore the higher risk will be there in the specialized farming, and moving to the diversified and then to the mixed farming, the risk will be reduced. So the more we diversify, the risk will be much lesser. So therefore here the answer will be specialized farming. 2 will be the correct answer. Stock and supply are same for. The options are farm machinery, iron, milk and automobiles. So here farm machinery, iron and automobiles can be considered as durables, right? Durable goods, because like even if the demand is not there in the market also, they can preserve these things for the future period without any deterioration, right? But at the same time, what about the milk? Milk is actually a perishable commodity, right? And we cannot store milk more than 1 or 2 days. So therefore the stock has to be converted to supply immediately. What is actually stock? Stock is nothing but the amount of the commodity which can be made available to the market, and the supply is actually what proportion of the stock which has been actually supplied to the market, right? In the case of perishable commodities, the stock and supply will be the same. So therefore here the perishable commodity is milk, and since we cannot store the stock for indefinite time, we have to convert it as soon as possible to the supply. So therefore in the case of milk, stock and supply will be same. Next question, the 3 maxims of cooperation were proposed by. This is also a direct question from the agricultural finance. The 3 maxims of cooperation was given by Horace Plunkett, right? Horace Plunkett, and the 3 maxims goes like this: better farming. First one is better farming. Second one is better business, and the third one is better living. So this is how the 3 maxims look like, and it was proposed by Horace Plunkett. So therefore the answer will be A. The next question is the question number 60. The possibility of occurrence of economies of scale is in. So here, as we have seen, the economies of scale, the possibility of occurrence of economy scale can be found out where actually economies of scale is a long run concept, right? So in the first option, actually we can say that the y is a function of x1, which is a variable factor. At the same time, x2, x3, etc., xn, all those variables are found as a fixed variable. So it is a short run production function. The second one is also x1 and x2 are variable factors. At the same time, many other variables are fixed factors. And we can say that a short run production function, at least one variable will be considered as fixed. So therefore it can be also can be considered as the a long run production function. And the fourth option, what happens here, it is actually a product relationship, right? It is actually a product relationship, and also there also much of the products are found fixed. So therefore it is also short run. And since economies of scale, we can say that it will be only possible when it is actually happens in the long run way. So in the third production function, there are no fixed factors. There is no partition between the variable and fixed factors, right? That is, y is a function of variable factors such as x1, x2, x3, etc., xn. So only in the long run production function only there will be a possibility of occurrence of economies of scale. So therefore the third option will be the correct answer. Lead bank scheme was recommended by. Lead bank scheme was established in the year of 1969, and it is a direct question, and it was recommended by Nariman Committee. Nariman Committee recommended the establishment of the lead bank, and it was established in 1969. When the price for the out of fashion goods is decreased, the demand will be. Actually, they have given the scenario of the price decrease in the out of fashion goods. The out of fashion goods means they are not having much utility in the current scenario because they are already outdated, right? Out of fashion goods are having, maybe it will be having some demand in the market, and as it is not in the fashion, or as it is not actually demanded constantly or increasingly in the market, when the price of the out of fashion goods decreases also, the actual demand which will be prevailing in the market will be remaining same, because out of fashion goods are not actually coming under the law of demand in order to follow some quantitative relationship with the price as well as the demand. So irrespective of the price change of the out of fashion goods, the demand for the same will be remains constant in the economy. So therefore the second option goes like constant, the fourth option goes remains same. Both are having the same meaning. So therefore 2 and 4 can be considered as the correct answer. Under perfect competition of market situation, question number 68, the marginal revenue line coincides with. In the case of perfect competition, the demand curve can be considered as the AR curve, right? And at the same time, we can say that the MR curve is also will be coincides with the AR curve, so that AR and MR curve will be coinciding in a perfectly elastic straight line demand curve. So therefore, under the perfect competition market situation, the marginal revenue line coincides with the average revenue curve. This is actually a straight question from the market structure of perfect competition, and the answer will be the second option, AR curve. On the ridgeline, marginal physical product of an input will be. What are ridgelines actually? Ridgelines, there will be many isoclines, right? See, there will be many isoclines in the production functions, and let this be the isoquants. Okay, let this be the isoquants, and the isoclines will be connecting those points which is having equal slopes, right? Those points which is having equal slopes among the isoquants will be connected with a line, and that can be considered as an isocline. Ridgelines are specialized isoclines, right? Ridgelines are specialized isoclines which will be separating the zone of feasibility and non-feasibility. So there will be an upper ridgeline as well as the lower ridgeline. So let OA and OB are the ridgelines. We can say that inside the ridgelines only the production process will be feasible, and any point outside the ridgelines we can find that the production will be unfeasible. The production will be unfeasible outside the ridge line. So what happens along the ridge line? Along the ridge line, we can say that at least in marginal physical product of at least one input will be 0. The ridge lines will be constructed in such a way that the marginal physical product, that is MPP, of at least one output can be 0. So therefore the answer will be option 1. Okay, question number 72. We have to match the list 1 with the years corresponding. The first one is All India Rural Credit Survey Committee, which can be connected directly to 1951. The second one is Cooperative Societies Act. The first Cooperative Credit Societies Act was established in 1904. So B can be connected with 1, A can be connected with 3, B can be connected with 1. The third one is Land Mortgage Bank. Land Mortgage Bank was first established in 1920. So therefore, I think it's in Punjab. So C can be connected with 4. And the last one, the Farmer Service Society. The Farmer Service Society was established in 1971. Therefore, D can be connected with the 2 options. So A, B, C, D can be connected with 3142. 3142. Option A will be the correct answer. Question number 73, another direct question. A market situation wherein all the sugarcane farmer producers are bound to supply their produce to a farmers cooperative sugar factory in that area is known as. Actually, according to the number of buyers and sellers, we have studied many different types of market structures like oligopoly, monopoly, monopsony, oligopsony, right? So here actually what happens here, there are many buyers, right? There are many buyers and there are many sellers. There are many sugarcane farmer producers, so there are many sellers, but they are bound to supply. They are in a contract that they will be providing all those produce to a single farmer cooperative sugar factory. So there is just one buyer, right? If there is just only one buyer and many sellers, what will be the situation? It will be considered as opposite to monopoly, that is monopsony. So therefore the option 4 will be the correct answer. Question number 74. Given below are 2 statements. Statement 1 is the present value of the future sum is the current value of the investment to be received in the future. What is actually the present value of the future sum? Present value of the future sum is nothing but what investment I have to do today in order to get a fixed amount in the future, right? It can be considered as discounting, right? I am aiming to get 1 crore rupees after 5 years if I am investing today. So in order to get 1 crore after 5 years, how much money I have to invest today? That will be giving you the present value of the future sum, and that is the current value of the investment that that has to be received in the future, right? The current value of the money that I have to invest today in order to get 1 crore rupees after 5 years, which is done by the process of the discounting. So therefore the statement 1 is correct. What is the statement 2? Future value of the present sum is an important concept in financial analysis, and this is called as compounding. Yes, it is also in the first statement if they were discussing about the discounting process. In the second statement they are discussing about the compounding process. What is compounding process? Future value of the present sum. That is, if I am investing 10,000 rupees in a business today, what will be my returns after 4 years or 5 years? So I am finding the future sum of the future value of the present sum. Future value of the present sum. Future value of the investment that I am doing in the present scenario. That will be given you by the process of compounding. So therefore statement 2 is also correct answer. So both statements are correct answer. Option 1 is the correct answer in this question. Question number 75. Match the list with 2. Farmer service societies are there. Single window system is there. Regional rural banks are there. LAMS is also there. Large Adivasi multi-purpose service societies, right? And those committees which were behind all these cooperative institutions are given in the list 2. So farmer service societies were established on the recommendation of the National Commission on Agriculture in the year of 1971. So therefore A can be connected with 3. The single window system was actually developed by Mohan Kanda committee, so therefore B can be connected with the first one. Regional rural banks were established in 1975 by the recommendation of Narasimham committee, M Narasimham, so C can be connected with the fourth option. And lamps were established in 1971 according to the recommendation of the Bawa team, right? So therefore D can be connected with 2. So therefore A, B, C, D can be connected with 3, 1, 4, 2. 3, 1, 4, 2. Option D is the correct answer. Option 4 will be the correct answer. So there is a mathematical question here. Question number 80. A vegetable producer wants to maximize his profit by growing cabbage. Suppose the demand function is P is equal to 40 minus 0.02 Q, where P is the price in rupees per unit of cabbage, and cost function is also given. C is equal to 20 Q plus 400, where Q is the quantity daily produced. Assume that it is a perfect competition in order to find the answer for this. So therefore we have the demand function and we have the cost function. How to maximize the profit? In order to find the profit at the maximum point of the profit, how we will find the maximum point of the profit? In order to maximize the profit, the basic condition is nothing but the MC should be equal to the MR, right? So here we have cost function, right? Cost function is 20Q plus 400. So in order to find the marginal cost, what you have to do? We have to differentiate the cost, right? Dou C with respect to Q, dou Q. Differentiate the cost function with respect to Q. So therefore we will be getting marginal cost as 20 rupees. So we got the marginal cost already. How to find the marginal returns? We have been given the demand function, right? So therefore price is given as 40 minus 0.02 Q. In the case of perfect competition, we can say that the total revenue, what is the total revenue in a perfect competition? Total revenue can be considered, can be given by the total quantity produced into its unit price, right? So we have been given with the price, and in order to find the total revenue, what we have to do? We have to multiply the price with quantity, right? So we are multiplying price with quantity in order to find the total revenue. That is nothing but 40Q minus 0.02 Q square, right? So we got the total revenue. And how to find the marginal revenue? Similarly, the way we have found out the marginal cost, we have to just find the marginal revenue here. We have to differentiate marginal. In order to find the marginal revenue, we have to differentiate total revenue with respect to Q, and we can get the marginal revenue as 40 minus 0.04 Q. So we got MC as well as MR. Now what we have to do? We have to just equate in order to maximize the profit, right? At the profit maximizing point, MC should be equal to MR. So what is the MC here? 20. 20 is equal to MR. What is MR? 40 minus 0.04 Q. So rearranging, we will get that 0.04 Q will be equal to 20, and Q will be equal to 20 divided by 0.04, which is nothing but 2000 divided by 4, which is equal to 500 rupees. Sorry, 500 units of quantity. They are asking at where the quantity Q, his profit will be maximum at the output level. So the output level is Q is equal to 500 units. So therefore the answer will be 2. 2 will be the correct answer. The next question is question number 81. Which of the following does not change with the volume of the activity? Which is the direct question. In the case of stationary budget, it is not changing with the volume of the activity. Actually, a master budget can be considered as a comprehensive budget. Actually, it consists of different budgets up on different compartments or different divisions under a large organizations. It is a comprehensive report or a comprehensive budget of the all mini budgets in different sectors inside a large organization. That is a master budget which can be changed according to the volume of the activity. The functional budget is actually a detailed financial plan for a particular activity, for a specified activity. And a flexible budget is also, in the name itself, it can be, it is flexible. The budget is flexible according to the volume of the activities which can be carried out or which is removed from the plan. But the only budget which is not changing according to the volume of the activity can be considered as the stationary budget, and therefore the third option will be the correct answer. Question number 84. Isochrones are linear when the resources are. Actually, the typical isochron that we are studying is of convex in origin, right? Convex to the origin. But when the isochrones are linear, when the isochrones for the resources are linear, we can say that the slope, what happens if a linear isochrones happens like this? Slope of the isochron at any point will be a constant, right? If the slope of the isochron is at any point is constant, we can say that one resource can be substituted constantly for another resource, right? So therefore we can say that it will be perfect substitutes. So option 3 will be the correct answer. So the next question, again another question from macroeconomics national income concept. Question number 87. The total output produced in a year multiplied with the market price prevalent through the same year gives, as we have discussed in the previous question also, the total output produced in a year gives you the gross national product, because they haven't discussed anything within the country or within the domestic country. So it is not a domestic product. Obviously it will be the gross national product, which is multiplied with the market prices prevalent during the same year, will be giving you the GNP at the market prices. So therefore the option 1 will be the correct answer. I hope you got the point. So there the second option, NNP at the factor prices. In order to convert this GNP to the market price, first we have to convert GNP to NNP at market price. So we have to deduct the depreciation, right? So we will get NNP at market price. The second option is NNP at factor prices, right? So NNP at market price has to be converted into factor price again. So therefore the net indirect tax also has to be deducted. So therefore we will be getting net national product at factor prices or factor cost. Similarly you can do the conversions. Rayot-Vary system was initially introduced in, again another direct question. The Rayot-Vary system was initially introduced in Tamil Nadu, that is Coimbatore, and we can see that the Mahalwari system was started in Agra and Oudh. So in Agra and Oudh, Mahalwari system has started. Wherein actually the tenants has to pay the charge for using the land and all to a group, a village, right? But in the case of Rayot-Vary system, a single tenant will be given the legal ownership or the right to the land by the government, and they have to directly give the taxes to the government. And until and unless they are paying the taxes, or until and unless they are paying the charge for using the land, they have the transfer rights of the land as well as the resources. Next question. Question number 91. A country's economy can be increased by imposing more tax on goods whose consumer surplus is. So where the country can impose more tax, whether on the goods which is having lower consumer surplus, or whether on those goods which is having higher consumer surplus. While studying the consumer surplus, actually what was the consumer surplus? It is actually the difference between the price which is paid, which the consumer would be willing to pay, as well as actually what he pays, right? So therefore in the concept of consumer surplus, even if the consumer was about ready to pay higher price, he will be actually charged much lesser price, right? So therefore the higher utility will be without losing any utility, or without losing any quantity, he will be having higher satisfaction while he is having consumer surplus towards some goods. So if those consumer surplus is grabbed by the government as in the form of tax, none of the requirements of the consumer is actually got lost, because it was the extra amount of money that they would be paying to buy the same quantity of goods, right? So therefore those consumer surplus, if transferred as tax to the government, actually it can be used for the welfare of the whole society, right? So therefore a country's economy can be increased by imposing more tax on those goods which is having higher consumer surplus. So therefore for the question number 91, the answer will be higher consumer surplus. Option 1 will be the correct answer. The answer, the share of answer for 92, the share of agriculture and allied sectors in India's gross domestic product percentage during the 2018-19 was 15%. And please remember to update the values for the previous years 2019-20, 21-22, 22-23 and 23-24 for your upcoming examinations. The share of the agriculture and allied sectors and the secondary sector, tertiary sector, etc. Question number 93, leather in a shoe factory can be considered as. So different types of capital has been given here. Sunk capital is there, circulating capital is there, floating capital is there, operating cost is there. Operating cost we can eliminate. Actually leather in a shoe factory cannot be considered as an operating cost, so it can be considered as a sunk capital or circulating capital or floating capital. So what actually sunk capital means? Sunk capital is nothing but a capital which is used in the production process, which can be used only for a specialized function. That is, leather in a shoe factory can be considered as a raw material which is only used for making the shoes, right? Leather cannot be used for anything else or any other functions in a shoe factory. So leather can be considered as a sunk capital. So option A will be the correct answer. What about the circulating capital? Circulating capital means leather can be also considered as a circulating capital, but circulating capital means that those capital which will be used up, which will be completely used up during the production process. Actually leather can be also considered as a circulating capital, but it will be in a scenario of the shoe factory. When leather is particularly asked, the most appropriate answer would be sunk capital. What about the floating capital? Floating capital is nothing but those capital which can be used for different functions. Sunk capital was used for only a single purpose, but at the same time floating capital can be used for different purposes. For example, electricity. Electricity is a floating capital. It can be used for turning on the machines, like for transferring the electricity from one compartment to another compartment, like whatever functions we can consider for electricity, it will be having much more higher functions. Differentiated functions will be there for the floating capital. Okay, the question number 94, marginal efficiency of capital or yield on investment is called as. Actually it is a direct question. So here the NPV is a discounted rate, BCR is also a discounted rate, IRR is also a discounted rate, payback period is actually an undiscounted rate, right? Undiscounted rate. Payback period is actually an undiscounted rate. So here NPV when compared to the NPV and BCR, internal rate of returns will be giving you the additional returns or the rate of returns when you on your investment, right? So therefore another terminology in order to express the concept of internal rate of returns is the marginal efficiency of the capital or yield. Marginal efficiency of the capital or marginal efficiency of the yield is meant like when 1 unit of capital is employed in the production process, what will be the effect or what will be the rate of the returns when you are giving an additional capital investment in your production process. That will be given by the internal rate of returns. So therefore marginal efficiency of the capital or yield on investment can be called as the internal rate of return. So therefore for question number 94, option 3 will be the correct answer. Among many factors, which factors make the changes in the production, communication, transport, discovery, inventions, industrialization, and urbanization? There are many aspects, and the question is asked that which factor among the many factors, which factor will be making some changes in all these aspects. There are changes in the production, there are changes in the communication, there are changes in the transport, there are changes in the discovery, and even in the inventions. So biological factors can't do that, physical factors also can't do that, media factors also can't do that, but technological factors can do that. So therefore option 3 will be the correct answer, because technological factors only can make some significant changes or difference in the production simultaneously in the aspects of production, consumption, transportation, discovery, inventions, industrialization, as well as urbanization. Question number 96. The cost of application of the fertilizer by family labor is referred to as. This question is a repeated question over the past ICAR PG papers in the social science stream. So the cost of application of the fertilizer by the family labor, the family labor is actually not paid directly, right? But in economics terms, the value of the family labor is involved while considering the economic costs and economic returns. Such self-employed resources will be considered as imputed cost, right? It is considered as imputed cost. Actually the answer given is imported cost. Actually there is an error in the option. It is actually imputed cost. The cost of the self-employed resources, that is the land the owner is giving for the production process, the labor hours he is giving for the production process. But when he is hiring another labor to come, they will be given the wages. That is a paid out cost, right? But these cost which is which is given to the self-employed resources for like if he is having a machinery on his own, if he is having some tools and implements on his own, if he is having his own labor work dedicated to the production process, it is actually not paid out from the pocket, right? But it is to be considered in the economic cost calculation. So the cost of the owned resources can be considered as the imputed cost, and the option 3 will be the correct answer. Question number 98. For the production function y is equal to 20 plus 0.2x minus 0.001x square, when px is equal to rupees 5 per unit and py is equal to rupees 100 per unit, the maximum output will occur at the input level. Actually, a production function is the technical and mathematical relationship between the input as well as output. Here the y is the output, x is the input, and the question is asked that the maximum output will occur at what input level, right? So here the output should be maximum, so here y should be maximum. What is the condition y for y should be maximum? The first derivative should be 0, right? If the first derivative of the function is 0, we can say that the function is maximum, right? So what we have to do is, like, we have to differentiate the y with respect to x. So therefore dou y divided by dou x should be differentiated and equated with 0, right? So the first differential will be going like this: 0.2 minus 0.002x. This is the first differential of y, which has to be equated with 0. Rearranging, we will get that 0.2 is equal to 0.002x, and therefore x will be equal to 0.2 divided by 0.002x, which will be giving you 0.002, which will be giving you 100. Even if the price of the x and price of y is also given here, which is having no significance at all while calculating the maximum output here, right? So therefore the input level at which the maximum output will occur is nothing but when x is equal to 100. That is option 2 will be the correct answer. So maybe in order to confuse the respondents, they will be giving you some useless facts, but if you are going to take the price ratios here and all, you will be mistaken. So stick to the question, what they are asking, derive the concept upon which you can find the answer. Okay. Question number 99. Capital obtained from own savings or gifts etc. is known as. there is debt capital, equity capital, paid up capital, and issued capital. From these equations, we can eliminate the debt capital, paid up capital, and issued capital. Equity is nothing but the self-worth or the net resources that one possesses, right? The value of the net resources that one is possessing. So the capital obtained from the own savings or gifts or their own self resources can be considered as the equity capital. So therefore, from the terminology equity itself, we can come to the conclusion that it is the correct answer. So therefore, capital obtained from own savings, gifts, etc. is equity capital. The next question is statement 1, deflating procedure. Deflating procedure can be used for retaining continuity in the comparison between two or more index series, which is coming from the statistics question and it's factually error. And the statement 2, the sum of squared deviations in the least is the least when taken from the mean, which is actually a property of the central tendency arithmetic mean, right? The sum of the squared deviations in the will be the least when it is taken from the mean, so that the statement 2 is correct. The statement 1 is incorrect, so therefore 1 is correct, 1 is incorrect and 2 is correct, so therefore the option 4 will be the correct answer. Okay, the central cooperative banks normally operated. Actually, in the cooperative credit distribution system in India, there were two types of system. First one is a two-tier system. Two-tier system was used for what? Disbursement of the short-term and medium-term loans, right? Short-term and medium-term loans. And in order to, it's a three-tier system. In order to disburse the short-term and medium-term loans, three-tier system was existing. And in order to disburse the long-term loans, there were a two-tier system, right? So what were the components of this three-tier system, which is disbursing the short-term and medium-term loan? First will be the state cooperative bank, which will be working at the state level, right? State level. And the second one will be under the state cooperative bank, district central cooperative banks will be there, DCCB, at the district level, right? Under district central cooperative bank, primary agricultural cooperative credit societies will be there, which is abbreviated as PACs, which will be working in the village level, right? So this is the three-tier system for the disbursement of short-term and medium-term loan. So here they are asking the central cooperative banks. Here the district central cooperative bank is there, which will be normally operating at the district level. So therefore option 2 will be the correct answer. What about the long-term loan disbursement system, the two-tier system? First one will be the apex institution for the two-tier system is Central Land Development Banks, CLDBs, Central Land Development Banks, which will be operating at the state level. And the second one will be Primary Land Development Banks, PLDBs, which will be operating at the taluk level. Okay, so this is how the three-tier and two-tier systems of the cooperative credit organization looks like, and the central cooperative bank normally operate at the district level. Question number 114. The technical efficiency of both variable and fixed resources are increasing in. There are three zones in the production process: first zone, second zone, and third zone. In the beginning of the first zone, actually the fixed resources will be abundant and the variable resources will be zero. As the variable input is increasing, as we can see that the APP is increasing throughout the first zone and reaches the maximum. So we can say that the technical efficiency will be reflected by the shape of the average product curve, right? So in the first zone, the technical efficiency of the fixed factors as well as the technical efficiency of the variable factors increases. So therefore, the technical efficiency of both variable and fixed resources are increasing in the first zone. But actually in the second zone, what happens? Even if the technical efficiency, even if the TPP is increasing, the average product is decreasing. So that we can say that the technical efficiency of the variable resources is starting declining, because it has reached already the maximum by the end of the first stage, and from the second stage it is declining, right? So therefore, the only zone where the technical efficiency of both variable as well as the fixed factors increasing is the zone 1, the first one. Even though it is an irrational zone, here the variable, the efficiency of both the variables, both type of variables is increasing. Okay, we have to match the list 1 with the list 2. Question number 116. First one, government spendings and revenue producing activity. Among the list, evaluation is there, shadow pricing is there, fiscal policy is there, capital consumption allowance is there. Government spending and revenue producing activity is nothing but the fiscal policy. What is actually fiscal policy? In order to stimulate the growth in the economy, or in order to control the uncontrollable growth in the economy, in order to eliminate the inflation and all, government will be taking some decisions by deciding whether to spend and how the revenue should be generated in the economy, and it can be considered as the fiscal policy. So therefore, A can be connected with the third option. The second one, careful and continuous assessment of the changes that occur in agro, socio and economic environment. While during we studied the project cycle, during all the steps when we are implementing all the plans, during each stages we have to thoroughly or continuously assess whether it is going upon the plan, right? We have to check whether the agro and socio and economic as well as environmental impacts are according to the plan or not, and that can be considered as monitoring or evaluation. So therefore, B can be connected with the first one. And the C is nothing but charges reflecting the estimates of wear and tear of the physical capital. The charges which is reflecting the estimates of wear and tear capital is nothing but the level of depreciation, right? And another terminology for the depreciation is nothing but the capital consumption allowance. That is the allowance that we have to pay in order to consume the capital throughout the process of the usage of this capital. So therefore, C can be connected with the fourth option, and the remaining one is can be connected with the second one. What is shadow price? The present value of the additional consumption generated by an additional unit of investment in a project. That is, when we are adding up 1 unit additional investment in a project, what will be the resultant generated additional consumption? That will be given you by the shadow prices. So A, B, C, D can be connected with 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2. Option 2 will be the correct answer. So the next question is, after SBI, which is the second largest public sector bank? SBI is the first largest public sector bank, and next to SBI, the second largest public sector bank, this is a factual question, second largest public sector bank is nothing but the Punjab National Bank. Third option is the correct answer. Okay. Question number 119. This is the last question of the agricultural economics. If a service of any kind is open to one member, it should be extended to all member countries in equal measure, is the principle provided by the guards through. This is known as the most favored nation principle. That is, if something is fixed for one country under the most favored nation principle following group, then that has to be followed in each and every country which is inside the group. That is called as the most favored nation principle, which is abbreviated as the MFN principle under the guards. So for question number 119, answer 4 will be the correct answer. So that's all about today's discussion. The questions which is related to agricultural extension and general agriculture will be dealt by the faculties of AgriAddict as the continuation of this video. So as the ICAR, JRF as well as SRF exam is approaching, I hope you are clearing the concepts and having a grip on the previous year question papers with the help of our YouTube platform. So therefore, if you are interested in the content that we are providing, Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe our YouTube channel in order to find the latest updates. And if you want to clear any doubts, join our WhatsApp group as well as in the Telegram channel. So thank you. All the best for your examinations.